kind of goes back to, I'll tell you a story from my physical therapy. This was a turning point for me. So, in case you don't know, I'm very tall. I'm 6 feet tall. So I'm kind of a spectacle normally anyway. People typically notice when I am walking into a room. And so, here I am, I'm 6 feet tall, I'm young, I'm fit. And to be able to walk, I had to use a walker for a while. So it was just kind of, you definitely noticed me. And one of the situations I had when I started my physical therapy was, it was just this excruciating process, learning how to walk again. And I will never forget this moment where I was walking on a treadmill about a half a mile an hour, so as slow as the treadmill could go. And it was one of the most excruciating experiences physically and emotionally. And I just had a breakdown. I just started crying uncontrollably. I couldn't, it was just this dreadful self-pity, where I couldn't believe that I was going through all of this. And when I left on the way home, my aunt was in the car. She was driving me. I had an epiphany that if I don't change my perspective of what is happening, then this car accident is going to destroy me. So at that point, it was just this mental shift into allowing pain to be my guide, to how far I could push myself to get better. And, I'm so grateful that I had such a family full of support. It was just unwavering that I honestly don't think I would have been able to do on my own. And then, I used all of that. Skydiving basically became the light at the end of my tunnel. This was, going through the recovery process there were days where I would make progress and I felt really great. And then there were days where I didn't feel like I made any progress, or days where I felt like I was going backwards because the pain was just too much to bear. And so skydiving again was there, and it was being able to see the small incremental changes of the quality of my life every day. That just became the light at the end of my tunnel. So whenever I had worked through all of the recovery process, I had a really great team of doctors too, by the way, some really great sports medicine doctors that were extremely supportive of what my goals and ambitions were. So when I had their blessing, so to speak, that was, when I set off, that's when, the bird was free. And that's when I started out on my adventure to skydive over 50 states. And that's the turning point again for me, is when skydiving just became the thread that holds me together. But how the whole ad came about, again, it's the game of networking, right? I think that's one of the most important skill sets that any entrepreneur can have is the ability to find and collect and keep the right people in their circles. But as I have traveled the world and skydived, I did make a connection with a man named Alan Gayton. He owns a company called Prime Productions based in Dubai. Alan is responsible for basically most of the high profile, extreme stunts that you see. But he called me out of the blue one day. He goes, "Nicole, I have a project for you. I think you're going to be perfect for it. There's some other girls that have done this. And I know that there's been a big casting that's been done, but I want you to," he goes, "Do you have red lipstick?" And I go, "Yeah, I have some red lipstick." He goes, "Okay, so I need you to put your red lipstick on, put your hair up, and I need you to send me a casting video that tells me who you are, that, you're the youngest person to skydive 50 states, that you're a yoga instructor, you're a scuba diver, you do these crazy things, and just send it over to me." So I sent him a casting video, pretty standard stuff. And a couple of weeks later, he called me back and let me know that Emirates had selected me to do the stunt. We had some weather roll in at the beginning of the morning. We had some low-lying fog, and we had to wait for all of that to burn off. So I was up there for a bit longer than we had anticipated. But the second stunt, it was a 2-day shoot, and over the course, each day I was up there for about 5 hours again. So total, I've been to the top of the Burj Khalifa a total of about 15 hours. I really enjoy nature anyway. So being outdoors is something that just feels right to me. So I enjoyed looking at the city from that perspective. It was a clear day. So it was really amazing to be able to see the world's islands and the Palm Jumeirah downtown, and being able to look out over the desert and see the sun rising from the desert. It was really beautiful. So I was taking in all of that. And then I noticed how quiet the city was at that time of morning. So we were up there about an hour before sunrise. So from that altitude, it was really, really peaceful, surprisingly peaceful. It is a brilliant marketing campaign, and Emirates truly hit the holy grail with this stunt. I mean, when you watch this advertisement, it invokes an emotional response, whether it's shock or fear or excitement or complete disbelief or whatever. You feel something when you watch it. And as for, did we expect it to go as viral as it did? Honestly, yeah. The production team and I absolutely, we thought it was going to be wildly successful. And why would it not be? It's something that one, you don't believe anyone would actually do. Like, why would you actually put a flight attendant on top of a building and film this? It has to be CGI. And then I think it was that debate that just sparked all the curiosity about it. So I mean, yeah, ultimately we knew, and more than anything, I'm just so thankful that when the first ad initially came out, that it changed the topic. For even if it was just the 30 seconds that the ad came out, the topic was changed from all of the craziness that was happening in the world to something different. Did I have any fear while I was up there? Let me start with that, because I think it's important to understand. I don't believe that someone can be fearless. Honestly, I don't believe that a human in their right mind can be fearless, because we have that emotion. It's divinely wired in us to keep us safe, but it's how we manage our fears that decide the quality of our life, I believe, so being able to recognize the experience. So, when I got to the top of the Burj Khalifa, my hands definitely got a little sweaty. I could feel my heart starting to beat faster, and I was able to recognize that I'm having a little bit of anxiety about what's happening. And the important thing is to acknowledge what the emotional response is. And for me, I go through my checklist. Okay, why am I feeling like this? All right, I'm here. This is just a different landscape to me, because normally when I'm at this altitude or at this height, I'm either in an aircraft or I have a parachute on my back. So that's my familiar space. So now, I'm just on top of a building tethered to a pole looking out, and it's 360 degrees of nothing but me. And being able to go again through the checklist. So I'm standing here. All the safety measures are in place. I have my harness on. I'm clipped into 3 points of attachment. And, I know that what I am, the landscape that I'm in at the moment is just something unfamiliar. So it's about coming back to myself, about breathing and realizing, again, acknowledging that response and moving on into the stunt. So it's, again, that's the being brave and being courageous.